That was very
Okay.
good, Paul. Oh, that was good.
That was
Well,
cool.
here I am with Paul Pillar, and we've got an interesting one today. We're talking about a sport. We don't talk about sport much, but we're going to talk about sport today, in particular, fencing. I sometimes use the French word for fencing. I always get it wrong, so we're going to call it fencing from my point of view, but Paul will elucidate. So we say hello to Paul. Hi, Paul.
G'day, Mike. How you going? All right.
I'm super good. And you're in one of my favorite watering holes, Marnolan's in the port, which is good.
Yeah.
And, well, not too noisy, which is also good.
No,
And
it's a
so,
calm afternoon. There's just that they put the cricket on for me, but otherwise it's pretty calm.
well, that's good. Right. Well, you have a positive twang to your voice. I know this when I'm speaking to you. It has an Aussie twang.
Yeah,
How
mate.
come?
Yeah, mate. How you going, mate? All right.
Yeah.
G'day.
How'd this happen then, Paul?
How can long story short, I was born in Islington, but I was adopted and taken to Australia and grew up in Australia. So had an English mother, adoptive parents, English mother, Scottish father, but grew up in Australia. So it's a weird. I have a weird accent.
Well, it's not a weird accent, it's an Australian
I think
accent,
it's,
sort of thing.
I don't think so. I think it varies depending who I'm talking to.
Oh, well, that could be.
If I'm watching Liverpool match with a pom like you, then it's a bit more English. And if I'm watching rugby with an Australian, it gets a bit more twangy in Australian. It depends who I'm with.
Ah, that's how it
I'm lost.
works.
I'm lost between several dimensions linguistically.
So how did you end up on the Côte d'Azur?
I came to France. I came to France in 1998 for reasons that we'll talk about before. And I spent 24 years in Paris. And I mean, it's a great city. I love Paris, but it's a grind as well, and hard work, long hard work. And COVID was the last straw. COVID and the lockdowns were the reason I chose to get out. And I came down to the Côte d'Azur because I had good friends down here, mates that were already well established here. So it seemed like a logical choice. And I've been here for 3.5 years now.
Now, what you are is a fencing referee. Is that
Yep.
true?
Yep. I'm the most hated man in the room when there's a fencing match happening.
How on earth did you get into fencing? Please tell me.
Pure curiosity. When I was 17, I finished school. I went to university, and a good mate of mine from high school to university went to the same uni. We were very sporty. We'd done everything. We'd done tennis, rugby, football, swimming, athletics. We were both very sporty. And we just said, well, let's do something really weird and different. And so we looked through the list of clubs at the university, at Macquarie University in Sydney, and that was fencing. And we thought, okay, got to try that one. So we went along to the fencing club in the orientation week, which was March 1985,
Wow.
and we we went in and tried fencing, and he dropped out after a few weeks. I was president of the club within 18 months. And
Wow.
it's been 40 years. I've been in fencing for 40 years now, and it's what brought me to France.
Was it popular in Australia
Nah,
as a sport?
nah,
Nah.
no, it's a small, it's a very small sport, very kind of very elite private school sport in Australia. We've had one world champion. We've had one world champion from Australia, under 17 world champion
Wow.
40 years ago. Uh, but we have,
So,
I mean, it's like cricket in France. Let me put it that way.
uh,
There's no culture, there's no tradition of
or
fencing in
American
Australia.
football in France, which they do.
Yeah,
Yeah, same
there's
idea.
no there's no real tradition and culture of it. So
Yeah.
it's a small sport in Australia.
So how did you build a career to actually become a referee? Because you actually referee at Olympic level, don't you? Or
Yeah,
international
yeah,
level.
yeah,
Yeah.
absolutely. Yeah, yeah. Well, I
How do you
mean,
do that?
how I do it is
Well, how did you get to that point of
you have to
being
do
referee?
exams. You have to do exams and stuff. You have to do like practical exams and high level of refereeing at big competitions.
Right.
Essentially, the easiest way chronologically to describe it is in 2003, I was already a national referee. In 2000, sorry, in 1993, when Sydney was given the Olympics for 2000, That's when I decided to really push to be an international referee and referee the Sydney Olympics. So in 1993,
Wow.
we were given the Olympics for 2000, and that was the point at which I made the decision to push at international level and learn French, come to France, learn French, travel in Europe, and become an international referee in the hope of refereeing Sydney 2000 Olympics, which I did. And I've continued refereeing world championships, et cetera, et cetera, et cetera. For it's like, as I say, since, well, I guess it's now 30 years as an international referee.
So you must have been a very skilled fencer in order to be a referee. Am I
You do
right in
have to,
saying that?
you do have to know, you have to really know what's happening on the piste. You have to really have good judgment and idea of what fencers are doing, and you've got to have very good peripheral vision. In your head, you have to have a high level of concentration and peripheral vision because you've got several levels of action to watch. The points and where they hit, the movements of the bodies, the arm actions. There are several levels at which you have to actually see a video in your head, seeing what's happening, who's got priority, who's winning, who deserves the hit, etc., etc. It's not easy. It takes a high level of concentration, but
But is
it's
it,
what you
it's
do.
like boxing
What you
and a
learn to do,
point
and you do it.
system, is it? With boxing, you get points where you hit somebody and things like that. And at the end, without a knockout, the person with the most points is
You've
the
gone
winner.
quiet. Have
Hmm?
we lost? Sorry.
Sorry, Paul?
Yes. Okay, but I would say that that's all right. You dropped out. You dropped out for a
Oh,
second. I
okay.
lost contact with you, but it's okay. I'd say the difference with boxing is about scoring punches. It's
Yeah,
scoring
it's
punches.
touching
Hit or
someone.
yeah,
Okay.
hitting, and you got scoring punches, which the judges are marking. And yes, the referee is controlling the fact that neither of them is cheating or hitting below the belt or anything like that. In fencing, you have to take into account the whole movement of the body, the rhythm, the attack, who started the attack, who's flowing. And you're talking about a piece which is 14 meters long. So you can have an action, you can have a physical action that goes 10 meters, and you've got to follow it physically.
14 meters? You're
Yeah.
joking.
No, so
I thought it was tighter up than that. Oh, that's
no, no,
fascinating.
no. You've got piste, a piste or a runway of 14 meters, which the referee has to run up and down sometimes. If a fencer's doing a big attack, you can find yourself running to try and follow the action, as well as watching the finer points of what's happening. So yeah, it can be complicated, but you do it because you love it. It's the love of sport. You love that sport. I've been in fencing for 40 years. I adore it, and that's why
Now,
you
how
do it.
many countries participate in this sport? I
Oh,
mean,
it's an Olympic sport. So any country that's in the Olympic Charter can do it. I mean, there's 100 countries. A
where
hundred
is it
countries that
most
have fencing.
popular, though? Is it France and Germany or?
Traditionally, Central Europe, Italy, France, Germany, Russia, etc. Traditionally, but the Americans have come good they've had up and down, but they've come good lately. There was a very big international tournament in Paris 2 weeks ago, and it was an American guy that took the gold medal. But there were over 300 fencers. I think there were 330 fencers, and it was an American guy that took the gold medal. Macialis, he's a top fencer. He's a brilliant fencer. He's one of the best of his generation. The Asians have got more into it. South
Really?
Korea, China,
Okay.
Japan, they're strong now as well. They're a force in international fencing. So
Wow.
everyone's there. Everyone's there. I mean, we've had Africans. I think it was London, if I remember correctly. London 2012 was the first time that there was an African on the podium, an Egyptian, very good Egyptian fencer, won a bronze medal or silver medal. So it's now everyone's there.
Is it a male-dominated sport, or are there females in
No,
it?
no. Well, men and women compete separately, the same as
Yeah, I
tennis.
understand. Yeah.
If you go to you go to World Championships, there's the men's competition and the women's competition. They're different. They fence slightly differently. There are slightly different rhythms and whatever to follow. It's different refereeing a man refereeing men's fencing and refereeing women's fencing is different, but it's not that much different than say tennis.
Now we you were telling me that there are three types, or somebody was telling me, or I read there are three types of a sword. We'll call them swords. There's the foil, the épée, and the saber.
Saber.
What is the
Yep.
difference
Foil, epee, yep.
between them?
Foil. Okay. Saber is basically the military weapon. So imagine you're on your horse, cavalry,
Oh, I'm
cavalry
there.
saber,
Yep.
cavalry saber. You're cutting and slashing your way through the metro crowd in order to get to work on time on a Monday morning. So you're
So it's
cutting and
heavy.
slashing.
It's heavy.
No, it's not heavy. Not heavy at all.
Oh,
No,
it's
it's not
not.
heavy at all. It's the lightest. It's the lightest weapon.
Oh, you
Saber is the
surprised
lightest weapon. Very flexible, very light. Big, but you're cutting and slashing, and the target area is everything above the waist because you're on a horse. You don't hit the guy's horse. You hit
me.
everything
See,
above the
okay.
waist.
So you maintain the same rules, although they're standing.
Yeah, exactly. As if
Okay.
you were on a horse. As if you're on
Intriguing.
a horse.
So it's
Epee,
cavalry type thing.
that's
Okay.
the cavalry, the military weapon.
That's
Epee is the civilian weapon, the dueling weapon, and the target is anywhere on the body. You can hit the foot, you can hit the hand, you can hit the knee, anywhere on the body
oh,
with epee, which is the rapier,
yeah.
traditionally the rapier. You score only with the point, anywhere on the body, because essentially to win a duel, you only had to draw blood. So even if you hit the guy in the
Oh,
toe and he bleeds, then the duel is over.
oh, I thought the idea was to kill the other person.
No, well, no. I mean, if he's, let's face it, if he's your wife's lover, then you probably want to kill him, but you don't have to kill him. You don't have to kill him. If as soon as you draw blood, the duel is finished and honor is satisfied. Of course, many of them died of blood poisoning later because the blades were rusty, but that doesn't happen today.
That's intriguing bit of history.
And then the foil was invented as a training weapon for epee, and now it's a weapon in its own right. And it's no, foil, epee, saber. The three weapons exist pretty much equally across the board, men and women at all levels of competition.
Now,
Very different tactically, different target areas, and different tactically. But I'd say it's like comparing squash, badminton, tennis. You've got a racket in your hand, but what you're going to do with it is completely different.
oh, so do you specialize in a certain weapon?
I was a foilist as a competitor. I was a foilist, so
Okay,
I've refereed at international level, Olympic level in foil and epee. I
right.
don't do saber. I don't do saber. I've never really had the knack for saber as a referee. It's very aggressive and very difficult to referee. You need to be a sabreur to referee saber. So I've never really done saber at top level, but foil and epee I've done at top level. And uh, these days I specialize more in epee because I'm getting a bit old and a bit tired, and foil can be quite contentious, whereas epee is relatively simple to referee.
So I'm getting the feeling you have to be pretty fit to be a fencer and also
Mm.
a referee.
Fencing Fencing is an extremely demanding sport physically, extremely anaerobic, a huge demand on the muscles, the legs particularly, but the heart and lungs. It's very physical. And as a referee, we're standing up all day. You're standing up, you're moving with the action. I can spend 12 hours on my feet if I'm at a
Wow.
competition from 8 a.m. till 8 p.m. if it runs a bit late. If I'm doing the final, 12 hours on your feet, it can be grueling. Yes.
So how long does an average match last? Just
For foil, it's about let's say 6, 7 minutes
what?
average. For epee, 8 or 9 minutes average. And for saber is very fast and very aggressive. Saber can be over in 3 minutes. But you're talking, I mean, the time limit is 9 minutes, but your average match is between 5 and 8 minutes.
So it's really rapid and quite exhausting from the sound of it.
Yeah. Oh yeah, it's very intense, physically very intense for the fencers, and for the referee, just yeah, a long day. It can be a long day. You can referee 30 matches in a day, and you're still doing working at the final, and your back and your legs are killing you. But You're there because you love it.
I was asking you something because I'm totally ignorant on the subject, is why they're tethered. And you told me it's not for any particular purpose. It's
Okay.
it it's
Imagine it's one of these. Imagine it's this. Okay. There's an electrical cable.
yep.
The electrical cable is hooked up to your weapon. So let's say you've got an epee in your hand. The electrical cable runs from the point, the electrical connection runs from the point of the epee down your arm through a body wire, out your back, and around to the scoring box. So
Uh-huh.
when I touch you, if I touch you, let's say I hit you on the arm, it registers on the scoring box in the space of two
Okay.
hundredths of a second. A light comes on and tells the referee that there is a hit.
Wow.
It's an electrical circuit. It's an electrical circuit which goes from the scoring box through the tether, through the tether, through the body of the fencer, all the way to the end of the point. And when the points touch, you complete the circuit and the light comes on. And that's what tells the referee if there's a hit, a valid hit.
Well, what is it that you're refereeing? What sort of things do they do that are bad? Obviously, because that's what a referee is trying to trap.
Oh,
What do
the
they do? Do they
stories,
try things?
stories I could tell you. Stories I could tell you. Things like if you're fencing foil and you put the guard is like the coquille, we say in French, the guard which protects your hand. You put the guard against your jacket,
Hmm.
it blocks the other guy's hit. He can't register a hit. So people were doing things like this, scoring hits like this, touching their own shoulder with the guard of their weapon, so that the other guy's hit couldn't register. Things like hit
Oh,
yourself on the foot.
they
There was one
really
great.
they seriously do
Oh,
that.
there was one great fencer, a really great fencer, Erno Kochnoi from Hungary. He used to practice hitting himself on the foot and kidding the referee that he'd hit his opponent. That's how good he was.
It
Start
must be
forward,
very fast.
hit himself on the foot and go, ah, and the referee's confused. Lots of cheating.
Before the days
Cheating,
of playback, I think.
fencing is famous as a very noble and gentlemanly sport, but there's a lot of cheating, and they will take every opportunity to milk a situation or intimidate a referee if they can. Like football.
Do you know of anywhere down here where you can go and watch fencing? Are there events
Well,
down here?
there's there was a big international event in Monaco 3 weeks ago.
Oh, really?
There's
Oh,
an annual event in Monaco, which is a big international event. That was 3 weeks ago. There's a very good club here. The biggest club in France. The biggest club in France is OGC Nice. There's over 700 members.
oh,
It's a
really?
huge club.
Wow.
Oh yeah,
That's big.
and they're right next to the Gare Riquier, the train station Riquier. That's the biggest club in France, right
Wow.
here in Nice.
And do they do exhibition tournaments down here or
Exhibition tournaments, no, but there are competitions all the time. What
okay.
the great thing about fencing, unlike football, rugby, cricket, is you don't normally have to pay to get in. As a member of the public, you can walk into a competition and watch it and enjoy it. You can just sit in the stands and watch it. Only only for big international tournaments do you actually have to buy a ticket to be there. Most junior competitions, veteran competitions, national circuit competitions, etc., you can just walk in off the street and sit and watch.
So it's sort of yeah, it's open to the
Very
public.
accessible.
Fantastic.
Very accessible.
I'll have to
Yeah.
check that out. I'll put that in the article. I'll put a note about that. That's really
Sure.
interesting. So tell me, what is big on your agenda for you in the coming year?
This year, oh
Yeah,
God,
well,
I don't have. I mean, I will do the same. I'll do the same few tournaments that I normally do. I've slowed down a bit. I've slowed down a bit in recent years. I used to do 3 competitions a month internationally. Now I do one a month on average, maximum. So I'll do the few competitions that I enjoy going to, where I've got friends and can hang out with old mates that I've known for 40 years and whatever. I don't think I have one big competition on the horizon. I worked a lot in the last 3 months. I was in Geneva, I was in Lausanne, I was in
I know you
Dublin.
went everywhere.
Yeah, been around. Been around a lot the last 3 months. So I don't have any big competitions on the horizon in the next few weeks, but it'll all change in spring. We'll see.
That's very interesting. Well, you've given me a real insight. It's a subject actually that's becoming it's beginning to fascinate me. I'm gonna have to watch some of this stuff. And I thank you.
If there's one book I could recommend, there's a very good book called By the Sword. It was written by Richard Cohen, and it's a great anecdotal history of fencing, and really, really interesting, funny, just dipping in and telling stories, and it gives the history of the sport, but also dips in. I mean, I've got friends that are in the book, world guys that were five-time world champion, and they get a good paragraph on them and stuff like that. Richard Cohen, By the Sword, is a great book about fencing, an anecdotal history of fencing over the last 300 years. I would recommend that. It's one of the best
Okay.
books I've ever read on
I'll
the
put
subject.
that in the blurb as well. Well,
Sure.
thank you. Thank you for opening our eyes. I really hope people become more interested, certainly because it's big down here.
It's a massive
And
sport. It's a national sport in France. It's a fairly typical school sport. It's very easy to join a fencing club in France, unlike England or Australia, where it's a bit of an outsider sport. It's a very accessible sport in France, and the French is the official language. That's why I came to France, because to refereeing at top level, you need to speak French.
wow, well, that's all totally fascinating, an eye opener for me. Well, time has come to say goodbye. And so I've got to say thank you. Thank you so much, Paul. Really appreciate it. I owe you a pint, I
Lovely,
guess, or two or three.
lovely, lovely chatting to you. Your seat is still vacant at the front of the pub there. I guess I'll see you there tomorrow.
Well, you never know, do you, Paul? Anyway, now you have to have a cheeky grin while I turn off the call. So
Okay.
thank you again, Paul. Really appreciate it.
Take care, mate. Nice to see you. Catch you soon.
Soon. Bye.